Hi, this is John from Proper Coils, and today we're having a look at the Tita AIO and Tita Rba from Veepon. So here we have the Tita AIO and Tita Rba from Veepon. Before I start review, I just want to say thanks to Daredevil over on Instagram for handing this to me for the purposes of review. I'll stick his Instagram tag here on the bottom. Go give him a follow. So we look at the Rba in a sec. We'll go through the mod first. So on the packaging, you have Tita and Veepon. Veepon are a new Chinese company that are making vape products. This, as far as I'm aware, this is the first product they've released. So Tita AIO. On the back here, you have the content. So you have the mods, the Type-C charging cable, the Tita tank, which isn't the same as this tank. It's a stock coil tank that comes with the mod, a 0.25 ohm mesh coil, and a 0.6 ohm regular round wire coil, and a user manual, and then some descriptions of the mod here. And your usual bits and bobs. You have their Facebook page, their Instagram, and their website. The only thing I'll say here is where it says oiling, it shouldn't say oiling. That's a terrible description of what it is. It should say juice port or juice or juicing or whatever, but not oiling. So Veepon, please change that in the future. Okay, so we'll open her up, and you have a nice little tin box. So I'm presuming this is their logo, so Veepon and moving forward, and Veepon, and there is nothing else. So we'll open her up. So on the front here, you have a warranty card and a user manual. So in the user manual, it runs you through the functions of the device. So you have your specs here. It's an 18650 battery. It is their own chipset, so it's called the VP60, so it's a 60-watt chip. The e-liquid capacity of the tank that it comes with is 2 mil. We went through the coils already. Resistance 0.08 to 3 ohms. 1 to 60 watts. Battery voltage is 2.8 volts to 4.8 volts. Charging is... It charges with the Type-C charging cable. It charges at 0.5 volts. Max output is 8.4 volts, which is good. Some devices are limited to like 4.2, but this is 8.4, which is good. So the chip boosts the output voltage by double, which is great. Max output current is 20 amps, and the material is stainless steel 316, and the finish is a ceramic sandblasted finish. And so some of the features, it comes with a refillable pod and removable coil. Tita Rba available sold separately, which we'll be going through in a little bit. The VP60 chip, Type-C charging port. As I say in most videos, I'd recommend charging it externally, but if you have to and you're stuck, you can charge it in the mod. Bottom cartridge adjustable airflow that comes with the Rba. That comes with, I'll show you that. Small, compact, simple, and solid design, which I'd agree with. And the tank it comes with can take SMOC Nord coils, which would be popular coils. Dot stick coils, AIO tank compatible also. So this is not compatible with a billet box Boro device, a Boro tank. It's compatible with the Dot AIO range of tank sizes. And that's really it. In this box here, you have your Type-C charging cable and you have your coils. So we'll pop those out. What I'll do is I'll build the stock coil tank first, and I'll vape both when I bring it back up top. And we build the separate Rba. So we have, I'll actually open this up. We have coil here. Where are we? Focus. So we have the 0.25 mesh coil, and this is good for 25 to 45 watts. So we'll stick that in the RBA tank that it comes with, the stock coil tank. And then you just have a Type-C charging cable in the box. So we put that coil to one side. And here is your mod. Now, first impressions when I got this, I have this about a week now. I've put a couple of builds in the RBA section. I haven't actually used the stock coil tank that it comes with. This will be the first time using that. I think first impressions, and even after first impressions, even now, I think this is the best looking AIO device I've ever had my hands on. I think it's better looking than the Cthulhu mod. It's better looking than my SXK billet box. It's like got that real high end look. Stainless steel base, stainless steel top, and that sandblasted ceramic finish, which it's smooth and it feels good. Ergonomically, it feels really good in the hand, and I like the button. Button's very clicky. On here, on the faceplate, you have real carbon fiber, and you can tell that because if I can focus this in, you can see the layers of carbon fiber on the side here. So this is actual real carbon fiber, which is pretty cool. So this is held in by magnets, and that just clips very easily into your faceplate. There's very, very slight movement, very, very slight, but it's nothing that would annoy me at all. Your airflow comes straight in to the front and hits the bottom of your tank here. This tank is held in with a spring mechanism, so the bottom is spring loaded. So you can see here on the bottom, this is spring loaded. So there's no screwing to get it all tightened up. You just push it in very easy, and it pops straight in. So it's an easier mechanism to get in and out of your RBA in and out than the likes of a billet box, which is good. Your battery cap here on the bottom is one of those fiddly caps, but it has got the little lever there, which is good, and you can just hold that and twist the mod, and your battery cap will pop off. And it is, you can't see there, but it's positive down, and you have a negative mark on the, you have a negative mark here for your battery. So we'll pop in a battery. I did notice that some of these wraps, these are thicker wraps that I have on this 18650. This is a Sony VCT5A, and it is a little bit tight. It will go in. It's not going to go anywhere. You have to give it a bit of a shake to pop it back out. So if there is anyone using really thick batteries, you might want to use something a little bit skinnier. But it goes in. I haven't had any batteries not go in, but just something I'd point out. So this VP60 chip. So if you hit your fire button 5 times, it comes up Veepon, and it's basically, in my opinion, a bit of a rip-off of the DNA 60. So you have your wattage here, you have your ohms, you have your voltage, and then on a DNA 60 you would have your puff counter. But here it has just VP60, which is your chipset, and then your battery indicator here. To change the screen and face the other way, you hit the fire button 3 times. 2, 3. And it flips this way. And in my opinion, this is the best way because this is the up. Sorry, this is the down and this is the up, which in my head, makes more sense. So we'll leave it at that. And it moves in 0.1 increments until you hold it, and then it will start doing full watt increments once you're holding it, and it will round robin. And it moves up and down pretty fast, which is good. You're not waiting too long for it to move. And that is the chipset. There's no other settings. There's no voltage. There's no temp control. There's no bypass mode. It's a fairly basic chip, but I think 95% of people vaping, or even the hobbyist vapors, generally just use wattage, so it's going to please most people. That is the chipset, fairly basic. We'll pop this stock coil into this little tank it comes with. So this is the tank that the device comes with. So you have adjustable airflow here on the bottom. This is all press fit in with O-rings. So this will take Smok Nord coils, which would be popular coils, and they screw into this base. There we go. So if you want to change your coil, put that one aside. Put that one aside. Screw your base back on. There we go. And your airflow ring can slot back on. You can change your airflow pretty easily, and you just attach your chimney, again held on with O-rings, and then that just pops into your RBA section. Very simple. So what we do is we'll pop some juice in that, and we put it to a side, and we'll vape it when we get it back on top. And you can get a coil builder's opinion on a stock mesh coil. And then we have the Tita Rba. So this is sold separately. So similar to the mod, it comes in a little tin. And Veepon moving forward. Obviously the Veepon slogan. So a handy little feature here on the front. You have your list of a handy little card in the front here shows all the features of the RBA. So it gives you the dimensions. It's made of 316 stainless steel and alloy. Airflow is mouth to lung and direct to lung. Liquid capacity is 3 mil, so it's 1 mil bigger than the stock coil RBA section the mod comes with. Included in the package is obviously your RBA. There's a 510 adapter for burning in your coils, some spare O-rings in the accessory pouch, and your airflow inserts, 5 different sizes. So it's 1 mil, 1.5, 2 mil, 2.5, and 3 mil. We will be using the 2.5 mil. That was the one I found best for my vaping style with this. So here is your content. So this is a 510 adapter, so we're going to need that for burning the coil. So that screws onto the base. I definitely do prefer RBA sections that are borrow devices, tanks sections that have the 510 already on the bottom, rather than having to fiddle about with one of these. So because there is a chance you're going to lose it, and then you're goosed because you won't be able to burn in your coil. So that is definitely going to be a con. We'll take out the tank, and we'll take out the 2.5 airflow section. So the bigger one, I'll just show you the bigger one because it's the only one that differs from the rest. The rest of the guys are basically like this. So it has 2 little O-rings and your airflow is around the side, and your airflow comes through the middle. Whereas the bigger one is studded at the bottom, and it has its airflow on the side. It's not hollow like the rest of them. But we'll be using the 2.5 one, so we'll be using this one here. So here is your 3 ml tank. We'll zoom in a little. There we go. So on the bottom here, you have where your airflow pin goes in. So these can just pop out. So they'll just press fit in with the 2 little O-rings. So that was the 1 mil. So we'll pop that back in the box. And to change your airflow, you just literally pop that straight in. Easy as that, which is good. To get at your deck, it's held in by O-rings. Fairly basic deck. Nothing too fancy here, so just 2-post design. Similar to the 520 bridge from Cthulhu. 2-post design. Wick here, and your airflow comes up the middle. Fairly basic. Not the biggest posts I've seen. You're not going to get massive, huge, chunky, like 5-core aliens in here, but today we're going to be throwing in some Mouchelong aliens, which should be perfect. And then the rest of the tank, you can take it apart. Again, it's all press fit with O-rings. Here is your chimney, and it has Tita on this side, and it has Veepon on this side. One thing I will say is you need to make sure that your wicking holes, and they're not, another probably con from, in my opinion, for this is the wicking holes could be a little bit larger coming from the tank. If you're running this at like 40-50 watts, it's going to struggle to wick, in my opinion. It's going to struggle to wick quick enough. Now, the Mouchelong alien I'll be using will be a restricted direct lung or direct lung vape, and it's going to be running at like 25 watts, and it'll be fine. I've ran it for a few days with that setup, and it was fine. But if you're thinking of using this like 50-60 watts and pushing the device to the higher end of the wattage, I think these wicking holes are slightly too small. Another mil bigger, in my opinion, would have been better. But it's just about being smart and building to the specs of the device you're using. So like try and aim for like a 0.5, 0.4 and run it at like 25-30 watts, and you should be fine. You should have enough juice getting at your coil and wick. That is it. Right, so let's get a coil on this. So we'll pop the 510 adapter on. So to do that, you need to unscrew this little piece at the bottom. There you go, it's off flying. And this screws onto the bottom of your base. And then you just attach this to your mod or build stand and build away. So before we do this, just want to show you the coils. So the coils we're using is our Mouchelong aliens. So they are 3 cores of 30 gauge Canthal wrapped in 38 gauge Canthal, and they will ohm out at 0.5 single coil, and they are 2.5mm inner diameter, and they're from proper Coils, of course. And here they are. These coils are very, very good, very versatile. They'll do a very good tight Mouchelong vape at about 20 watts, and you can bump them up to 30-35 watts to get a loose restricted direct lung with them as well. So very very good for the likes of an RBA device, any AIO device. They're very, very versatile, especially for something that you can change the pins on the fly, so you can jump from a Mouchelong vape without actually having to change your coil. Just push in a Mouchelong insert, drop the wattage down, and you can get a nice Mouchelong vape. Or if you want to bump it back up, drop in a bigger insert, and you can completely change the style of your vape on the fly, which is pretty cool. So let's get a coil on this. So that is the Veepon Tita AIO and RBA all juiced up, coiled up and wicked up. So let's bring it back up top and I'll give you my pros and cons. So we're back up top with the Veepon Tita RBA and AIO. So we are sitting at 26 watts and the Mouselung Alien settled in at 0.59 ohms. Let's give it a vape. So I forgot to mention on the down low that this comes in two colors, so I'm going to throw a picture up on the screen now. It comes in white Dalaran and it comes in this sandblasted black finish. Price-wise, I don't know what the prices are because there is no prices yet. It hasn't been officially, as far as I'm aware, been officially released in Europe yet. So I can't find any prices yet. Yeah, so we'll jump onto the cons. So the first con I have is the fact that the Boro tank, the Boro tank the device comes with, is given me shorted every time I put it in. Now I've stripped it down, put the coil out, I've taken the coil out, I have cleaned the inside, I have tried the different coil and it's still shorting out, so I don't know, is there a defect in the base or something, but it's not firing. So that's going to be a con. The fact that the capacity on even on the Tita RBA that you buy separately is 3 mil. The other one is, well, the other one's irrelevant because it's not working, but the one you buy separately is 3 mil. If you buy a SXK billet box or a billet box device, you can find tanks that will hold up to 6 mil, even 7 mil. So the fact that this only holds 3 mil, it's a smaller capacity than a billet box compatible device, is going to be a con. The fact that it doesn't come with a Mouselung drip tip is a con. It's an 18650 device. A lot of people who buy this will want to try it in Mouselung mode. It really should have come with a Mouselung drip tip. The bore on the drip tip comes with, although it is a good drip tip and it's good for restricted direct lung or direct lung, is too big in my opinion for a Mouselung, like a comfortable Mouselung vape, and you need to be changing out your drip tip with a different 510 drip tip, and they should have given you really an option of a Mouselung in the box, which it didn't. The chipset is not as accurate as I would like. The Mouselung Alien, and I know my Mouselung Aliens very well, is coming out at 0.6. I've never had any of my Mouselung Aliens come out that high before. Even if you're using a lot of the leg, like the legs are longer, which will up the resistance. The highest I've got them is like 0.53, 0.54. A 0.6 for me, in my opinion, is not an accurate reading on my Mouselung Aliens. They shouldn't read that high. So it tells me that the chipset isn't accurate, or as accurate as it should be. Now, it's not a massive deal. It's not a deal breaker, but it's not. It shouldn't be reading that high. So the chipset isn't as accurate as it should be. The Wiccan ports in the RBA section are tight. So if you're thinking of running this RBA at like 40 watts, 45, 50 watts, it's probably going to struggle to wick, because I'd like to see those Wiccan ports like a mil wider. So you could like, because it is a 60 watt device, some people are going to want to run it at 55, 60 watts or whatever, and put like a lower ohm resistance coil in there and blow some clouds. But the fact that the Wiccan holes are that small, it's going to struggle to keep up with the wicking if you're running the wattage that high. So I recommend, if you do get the RBA section separate, make sure that you're running like a 0.4, 0.5, 25 to like 35 watts, and you should be fine. It is wicking fine with this, but I wouldn't be pushing it any further wattage wise. Pros. So the biggest pro for me by far is the looks, because it's definitely the best looking AIO I've ever used. The fact that it comes with real carbon fiber, which you can see the layers there, proper real carbon fiber. There's no branding. There's no branding on it at all. There is that brushed stainless steel, which I love. That brushed stainless steel on top and bottom. It looks like something that is high end. Again, I don't know the prices because there is no prices yet, but if someone showed me a picture of this or like a video of this and told me it was like 200, 250, I wouldn't argue with them. It looks really looks well. In my opinion, it looks better than the SXK Billet Box. It looks better than the Cthulhu mod. It definitely looks better than the Pulse AIO. Probably the best looking AIO I have held in my hand for sure, or seen, in my opinion. The airflow, the fact that you can change the airflow on the fly, the pins for the RBA section is obviously going to be a pro. You can jump from mouth to lung to direct lung vape by just changing out your airflow pins. The fact that it's so tiny and small, even for an 18650, it's a very small device. It's going to be a pro. I mentioned already, but the fact that it's real carbon fiber is a huge pro. You see a lot of companies saying something's carbon fiber and it's either a sticker or it's not actually real carbon fiber. This is definitely real carbon fiber. The fact that it's compatible with the dot mod AIOs gives you lots of options. So there's a lot of good RBAs. Not that this one isn't a good RBA, it is a good RBA, but there is other options out there. The likes of the Pioneer is a very popular one, and it is a good RBA section to use, and that will fit in there, which is obviously going to be a pro. And yeah, that's all the pros, that's all the cons. Basically, I think it's gorgeous, and that's the main thing for me. I can look over the fact that the chipset probably isn't the best in the world. I can look over the fact that it isn't as accurate as it should be. It still functions, although it doesn't function with this, but I think that's a fault with the tank, not the chipset, because the chipset's working with the RBA. I definitely can look over that, just the fact that it's so good looking. It's a good looking mod. I love a clean looking mod, even a tank, as you've seen if you watch any of my other videos. I like brushed stainless steel, and I like no branding and stuff, and this is right up my street looks wise. So yeah, so that was the review of the Veepon Tita AIO and RBA. So if you like the review or like the reviews in general, make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification bell. If you're looking for any handmade coils, make sure you head over to propercoils.com. I hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.